Christmas morning arrived quietly at the small commuter station just outside the city. There were no decorations, no music, and no crowds rushing to catch early trains. The platform was nearly empty, except for one elderly man sitting on a metal bench near the edge. He wore a dark coat, neatly buttoned, and held a paper ticket he checked every few minutes, as if time itself might suddenly change its mind. According to station staff, the man had arrived shortly after sunrise. He did not pace. He did not complain. He simply sat, watching trains come and go, waiting for something, or someone, that never seemed to arrive. In a country where Christmas is often loud and full, his silence stood out. The man's name was never announced. No interviews were given, but workers at the station noticed him because he stayed long after most travelers had left to join family celebrations. By mid-morning, the station cafe closed early. By noon, only a few delayed trains remained on the schedule. Still, the man waited. He kept his coffee untouched. His phone stayed in his pocket. When asked if he needed help, he smiled politely and said he was fine. Witnesses later said there was something deliberate about the way he waited, like someone who believed leaving would mean missing the one thing that mattered. For many Americans, Christmas is a time of reunion. For others, it quietly becomes a reminder of distance. As the day moved on, the station grew colder. Wind moved across the tracks, carrying scraps of paper and the sound of far-off horns. The man adjusted his scarf once but never stood up. By early afternoon, staff assumed whoever he was waiting for wasn't coming. Then, just after noon, one final train slowed into the station. Only one passenger stepped off. The stranger was not in a hurry. He looked around, noticed the emptiness, and then noticed the man on the bench. Witnesses say it wasn't curiosity, it was recognition. Something about the way the man sat, alone on a holiday meant to be shared, made him stop. The stranger walked over and asked a simple question: "Are you waiting for someone?" The man looked up, surprised, then nodded. That moment changed the entire day. They talked quietly at first. Nothing dramatic, just names, where they were from, how long they had been waiting. The man explained that he had expected a visit. Plans had been made weeks earlier. Tickets bought, promises exchanged. But as the hours passed, calls went unanswered. The stranger didn't interrupt, he listened. In a place built for movement, the two men stayed still. As the conversation continued, the man shared small details, past Christmases, family traditions, meals he used to cook. He didn't sound angry. He sounded tired, not physically, but emotionally, like someone who had learned not to expect too much anymore. The stranger shared less. He mostly listened. Sometimes, that is enough. People passed through the station without noticing. Trains arrived and left, but the bench stayed occupied. By late afternoon, the sky darkened. The stranger stood up and checked the time. Instead of leaving, he asked another question: "Have you eaten today?" The man hesitated, then shook his head. The stranger offered to walk with him to a nearby diner that was still open. It wasn't part of any plan. There were no cameras, no audience, just a decision made in real time. The man agreed. Inside the diner, Christmas music played quietly from an old speaker. Only a few tables were occupied. The two men sat by the window and ordered simple meals. They didn't talk much while eating. They didn't need to. For the first time that day, the man wasn't waiting. No official report was written about what happened next. No viral video captured the scene. But staff members later said the man left smiling. Not loudly, not dramatically, just lighter than before. In a season often measured by gifts and gatherings, this moment stood out because it required neither. It was not about charity. It was about attention. Across the United States, millions of people spend holidays alone. Elder loneliness is a growing issue, especially in urban areas where family members are scattered and routines change quickly. This story is not unique because of who the man was. It matters because of how ordinary it is. One bench, one stranger, one decision to stop. The stranger never shared his name publicly. He did not describe himself as a hero. He simply said he did what felt right at the time. Experts in social behavior often say that loneliness isn't about being alone, it's about feeling unseen. That day, at a quiet train station, someone was finally seen. When the two men parted ways, the station lights were already on. The trains were fewer. The day was nearly over. But it did not end the way it began. The man no longer sat alone. This story didn't make national headlines. But those who witnessed it say it's the kind of moment people remember longer than any gift. Because sometimes, the most important arrival isn't on a schedule. It's the person who notices, and chooses to stay.